Kyle Klingman with Track Wrestling for our Division III NCAA Championship preview alongside Jim Miller, 10-time Division III NCAA Championship coach, now director of the National Wrestling Hall of Fame Dan Gable Museum. Before we get into the Division IIIs, you have an athlete that you coach, Nick Mitchell, 9 NAIA wrestling championships in a row. What a streak.
It's pretty crazy, especially starting from scratch, starting a program from scratch, the first one after 4 years, and now 9 in a row, and tied Gable's Iowa record, and be a big year next year. I'm sure he probably don't want to talk that much about it, but he got a chance to get 10 in a row, so good for him, man, and congratulations to Grandview, yeah.
And you had a situation where he threw his headgear and -1 points
in
national duels.
We were wrestling national duels. I think it was Penn State. We were actually wrestling Division I national duels back when they used to let D3 and D2 join in for one team. So, but yeah, I know you brought that up, made him accountable all these years later. But.
Yeah. Well, talking about Division III, the talking point going in is that there are 18 qualifiers. There's a lot of teams, over 100 teams in Division III, so not as many get to go. You only have 18, and there's 6 regionals, 3 from each region, so you have to place first, second, or third. Really a tough qualification process. Is it fair the way it's set up right now?
Well, I don't know. You got 117 teams the last I looked, and we keep adding, which is great. But, you know, at some point, hey, we need more qualifiers. I mean, I think everybody's going to agree with that, you know. As far as the different regionals, I mean, yeah, man. I mean, I think there's some regionals that you would think that it's tougher than other regionals. You know, I don't know how the solution to that is, but getting more qualifiers is obviously something I'm hoping at some point we got to look at. You know, so it is tough. Yeah, I mean, the regional I went and looked at. I mean, I was there. I think they left for All-Americans home.
And maybe a national champ too.
Yeah, former national champ. So there you go. Yeah, I don't know.
So as we go into this, there are 2 teams with 8 qualifiers. You have Augsburg and Loris. Stevens has 7. Mm-hmm. Do they have a commanding lead as far as just the opportunity to win the title, not necessarily a trophy?
Yeah, I mean, you got more bullets, you know, to start with. But, you know, you got to take advantage of it, or you know, somebody goes 0-2, you don't get much, you don't get any benefit from it. So yeah, I think it's obviously an advantage. Everybody wants to have the numbers to start with, and then it's just a matter of how you do, obviously, once you get there. But I'd say, you know, those guys got somewhat of an advantage right now going in for sure.
Looking at Augsburg, they are the defending NCAA championships, had a dominant performance last year. Even though they've lost a couple dual meets to Wartburg, they have 8 through. You have to kind of favor them right now because it's been Wartburg or Augsburg since 1995. Either one of those teams has won the championship. Augsburg knows the formula. You probably have to put them as the front runner at this point.
Yeah, they got 8 guys. I think the lowest maybe is 5th seed or 4th. I mean, I think they're probably in a good situation. That's what I would guess. Yeah, I would agree with you.
And then with Loris also qualifying 8, a situation where they got their first trophy last year, second place finish behind Augsburg. They also have 8, and of course none have 10 at this point, but having that 1 or 2 extra guys is probably going to prove crucial for the Duhawks.
No doubt about it. I think they're set up to have a good tournament. You know, you just don't know, but they got to feel good about what they got going. I think that's probably a record number for them going in, have 8, and yeah.
What do you think about Stevens right now? They have 7. Are they in the mix?
Yeah, I think they are because they got a couple. I mean, I don't know their whole team, but I know they got 2 guys probably seated first. I mean, so, you know, anytime you got a chance to have a couple champs, and then if you get hot with the other guys, you obviously got an opportunity there. So I'd say so, yeah.
63 of the 108 teams qualified at least 1 wrestler. Of course, we mentioned Augsburg and Loris 8, Stevens 7, and then 6 qualifiers, Baldwin Wallace, Coast Guard, Ithaca, and JWU. 5 qualifiers, Lacrosse, Messiah, Mount Union, North Central, RIT, TCNJ, and Wartburg, and then 4 qualifiers, Co, John Carroll, Milliken, NYU, Springfield, Wabash, and Whitewater. When I mentioned those teams, of course, Wartburg is a perennial power, but of the teams mentioned, who do you think is going to be in the trophy race?
Yeah, I mean, I really don't know. Obviously, Wartburg's got an opportunity, but so does, you know, when you got 6, it's just a team that gets hot. You know, if someone gets hot, you got to feel good about it. Coast Guard has got a couple high-ranked seeded guys. I noticed at least 3 guys. So, It really depends on how it starts. I think after the first round, even, you know, Division III. One thing, Division III people love to watch it because there's upsets from the get-go. I mean, there might be a seeded number one guy go down, and typically, the majority of the time, someone does go down that's seeded very high right away. And so I think you got a better idea after the first round, but definitely after the first day. You know, you got a better idea.
Let's talk philosophy here with pigtails. There are 18-man brackets, which means each weight bracket has at least 2 pigtails.
Yeah.
As a coach, what do you think when you see that on your bracket?
Well, if I had a guy that I was very confident in, I mean, one of the best guys in the tournament, yeah, just give him a pigtail, you know. But if not, you're always leery of who it is, and you know, it's another match. You want it for your team points, but there's always a threat that, you know, what if he gets dinged up, or what, you know, you got an extra match. So, but it is what it is, you know, and I've had it both ways. Sometimes it worked out really good, and sometimes not so good. So
when you're going in and you want to win a championship and you don't get 10, you have 8 or another number, how do you kind of conceptualize that and make sure that you get your team built in, that you have to have kind of a perfect tournament to win it?
Yeah, I mean, that's the plan no matter how many you got. We want to have a perfect tournament. We want to, you know, we want to go through the first round and feel great about the first round, you know, because so much momentum is built that first round. You know, if you get on a roll the first round, it's so much easier to come back and, hey, let's do this, you know. And it's tougher if you have some big setbacks first round to get that momentum back, you know, going the way you want it to. So, you know, you want to be good right off the bat, right out of the gate. And so that doesn't mean you can't do better later, but it's a whole lot easier when you start on the right track.
Division threes are a 2-day tournament, so you have a Friday, Saturday. That Thursday going in, are you just itching to get that thing started?
Heck yeah, man. Let's get this thing started. I mean, the worst part's waiting. The worst part's waiting, and all the different scenarios that run through your head, you know, that could happen, what you're hoping to happen, and so forth. And so, you know, and you're still worried about, hey, make sure guys feel good, they're down to weight and all that stuff, you know. There's a lot of things that you worry about as a coach, but the best part is, hey, to finally, after, it's kind of like football when they say, when I make that first contact, everything settles down. And that's kind of how it is, I felt, in wrestling. Once we get that first round going, you just kind of get back in the groove, just like you have for all the tournaments during the year. Once you're in the mode, I think it becomes, we'll get back on track, and it's easier.
How about that Friday night? Not sleeping much then either?
Yeah, there's a lot of Friday nights I didn't sleep that well. Yeah, because you're always worried about what if, what that. No matter if you're not doing as good as you are, or even sometimes when you're really doing good, there's always that possibility. What if we, you know, you try not to think about it, but what if we start out bad, we lose the first few, and so yeah.
How about a couple 3 wrestlers that you are looking forward to seeing, that you're keying in on, just from a entertainment point of view? Some guys that you think we should keep an eye on.
Oh, dude, I don't even know, but I'm looking forward to seeing some guys that I've never seen that I heard are really good, you know, and maybe they're real exciting type guys that like to throw and so forth. So I don't want to have any names in particular, but I'm looking forward, because here's what I know. The very first round, you're going to see some unbelievable matches and results that you didn't expect. That's what I'm looking forward to.
All right, we've been with Jim Miller, 10-time NCAA championship coach. Watch the Division III NCAA Championships. Jim Miller will be on the call for the finals. It's coming up on Track Wrestling this weekend.